guys, welcome back to This Homeschooling Naturopath. If you're new here, my name's Hannah and I'm a homeschool mom of 3 girls who are 11, 9, and 7, and I'm also a fully qualified naturopath living in New Zealand. On this channel, I really like to share content related to homeschooling, homemaking, motherhood, as well as some tidbits of naturopathic info throughout some of my content here. Today I am back for another month of meal planning for you guys. This is my April meal plans, what I plan to make for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as well as some snack ideas, baking ideas, stuff like that. So if you're interested to see what my April meal plan looks like, keep watching. Back for yet another month of meal planning. I have really been enjoying making these videos. Meal planning is something that I really love, and it's something that I'm already obviously doing for my family, and I really love that I can share this with you guys, and so many of you have shared some really encouraging comments, and it makes the whole thing so much better and really motivates me to get these videos out, so I'm really excited to be back for another month. What I did want to show you guys here is some behind the scenes, and this is typically how I kind of make a rough draft of what I'm planning for the month. When I finally sit down to film this video, I'm sure it looks very seamless on camera, and it looks like I'm just pulling all these cool ideas, from the top of my head, but actually I do have a rough draft, and I like to actually spend quite a bit of time, like just in my free time, I'll jot down recipes on this rough draft. I also keep ideas in my phone. So about halfway through any given month, I actually start to prepare a little bit for the following month. Just getting some ideas together, like saving things on Pinterest. I mentioned last month in my March meal plan video that honestly the vast majority of my recipes do come from Pinterest, so I save a lot of stuff on there. If I see something cool in someone else's video or social media, like wherever, then I'll just sort of start jotting down recipes as I see them and adding them to my rough draft. Last month, I decided to put my dinners on a separate sheet of paper with the hopes of having a little bit more space to write a little bit more detail as far as like veggie sides go and stuff like that. I was hoping to have all of this like ample space to write a whole lot of detail, but that's absolutely not how it ended up working, and I didn't have extra space to write anything, and actually it was quite inconvenient having my dinners on a different piece of paper. So I'm back to my tried and true breakfast, lunch, and dinner all on the same page here. If this is the first meal planning video of mine that you are seeing, I do plan breakfasts, lunches, and dinners for every day of the month, and what I do to make it easier on myself and our homeschool is that I rotate our breakfasts. So every Monday for the whole month we'll have not exactly the same thing, but I'm writing down baked oats here, which I do change this up every week. It's not always the exact same flavor, but nonetheless we do have this rotation where I make the same thing for that day of the week for the whole month. I hope that makes sense. I don't feel like I've explained it well, but you guys got it. It's simple enough. Baked oats is definitely one that you can pretty easily get sick of if you're not rotating through flavors, so I kind of like to change this up. We have a few different ones that we rotate through. Blueberry, Black Forest, which is just frozen cherries with cocoa powder, chocolate peanut butter, sky's the limit when it comes to baked oat flavors. Tuesday breakfast, keeping it super simple, eggs on toast. Now I make all of our bread here at home, and I tend to make sourdough, so this will either be like a normal sourdough loaf, or I have been lately making sourdough sandwich bread, which my kids have been enjoying as well. Wednesday's breakfast is something that I have never done before. We are having protein waffles for the whole month of April. Now, when I watch videos from the United States, I see so often like this Kodiak protein pancake mix. We have absolutely nothing even similar or equivalent to that. You will never find a protein pancake mix here in New Zealand. It just, it's not that I know of anyways. So I've had to get pretty creative with these protein waffles. This past week, I made like a cottage cheese and ground oats with a whole lot of eggs. And it sounds gross when I'm saying it, but it was actually, these waffles were delicious, and all my kids only needed one waffle each to fill their tummies because of how much protein was in them. So they were a big hit, and we're definitely going to keep just kind of rotating through different flavors of protein waffles on a Wednesday. Thursday's breakfast, we are bringing back eggs and hash browns. We were having this, I think, 2 months ago, and it was a really big hit, and we've all missed it. So eggs and hash are coming back. I make my own homemade hash browns for this. Everyone loves them. And then Friday's breakfast is going to be overnight oats. Again, rotating through the flavors, changing it up, adding chocolate chips where need be to keep things exciting. And I also want to mention that all these breakfasts I tend to serve with fruit smoothies. And again, we mix those up, changing the variety all the time. Although coming into our colder months now, it's autumn here in New Zealand, so coming into colder weather, I am going to slowly start to phase out our smoothies and replace them with fresh fruit instead. My main priority when it comes to our breakfasts is really having an adequate amount of protein, a lot of fiber. That's where our eggs and oats tend to come in. I know for myself personally that I certainly feel a lot better throughout the day if I have had a really good high protein breakfast, and I can tell you that my kids definitely perform a lot better in their schoolwork and just honestly even in their behavior. And that really is the main reason why I continue to make cooked breakfasts every morning. I think it is just so important to have that really good start to the day, getting everyone off on the right foot, and really setting up our homeschool day for success. Saturday's breakfast is make your own, and my kids get really creative with this. They will make themselves pancakes and waffles and all sorts of different things in the kitchen. They really like make your own breakfast Saturdays at the moment, and it means that I don't have to be up early in the kitchen like I am every other day of the week. Sundays are a little bit more special. We like to have a big family breakfast, so I like to plan something a little bit more hearty, a little bit more, comfort food type of vibe. So we've got biscuits, gravy, sourdough waffles. Easter Sunday, it's going to be bunny-shaped pancakes. You guys know the cute little bunny pancakes. And then that last Sunday there is going to be sourdough cinnamon rolls. Most everything I make does tend to be sourdough. Even with the biscuits and gravy, I will make long fermented overnight biscuits for that recipe there. So yeah, it's all things sourdough in our home for the most part. On now to lunches. I only plan lunches Monday through Friday. I tend not to plan any specific lunch for Saturday and Sunday, and the main reason is because there's so many variables when it comes to the weekends. Sometimes we're away, sometimes we're out all day, sometimes, my husband suggests that we go out for lunch, which I'm never going to turn down. And in the past, when I have planned lunches for Saturday and Sunday, sometimes food ends up going to waste or like having to get shuffled around throughout the week, and it just kind of, it makes my chaotic brain a little bit more chaotic when I have to do things like that. So it's just easier not to plan anything and just do something last minute and, leave myself that space for creativity on the weekends. Anyway, Monday's lunches for the month of April, we are having soup and toasties. Toasties are what we call grilled cheese here in New Zealand. We are very slowly working our way into soup season here, coming into our colder months, and so I thought it would be really nice and comforting to be making a homemade soup once a week. This past week I made tomato soup, and I've got a whole list of different soups that I'm going to be rotating through here for every Monday of April. Tuesdays we are going to be having pizza bagels. Again, these are sourdough. I've seen on videos from the United States, you can buy frozen pizza bagels. Those don't exist here in New Zealand. So I'm going to make them myself. These are overnight sourdough bagels that I will put nothing on when I initially bake them. And then I'll, just do like pizza toppings, tomato paste, cheese, pepperoni, pesto, whatever people are feeling for their pizza bagels that day. And I'll also serve this with just like a vegetable platter, carrot sticks, tomatoes, again, whatever I have in the fridge and whatever people are interested in. Wednesday's lunch are going to be pinwheels. I have seen a lot of different recipes and like different things I want to put in these pinwheels. These are just tortillas, store-bought tortillas. I won't be making my own tortillas for these pinwheels. And then, you just do like ham, cheese, like maybe some cream cheese with chives, like whatever you want. Yeah, that's what is going to be Wednesday's lunch. And again, serving that with a vegetable platter as well. Another thing that does not exist here in New Zealand is sliced turkey. Like how you would get ham. I see in so many videos, turkey like that. That is not a thing here in New Zealand. If it was, I definitely would be buying turkey all the time, but unfortunately, we don't have access to that here. Thursday is super simple. We rush home from jujitsu on a Thursday, so a quick, fast, easy lunch is always really helpful for me. So bean quesadillas, generally black bean quesadillas here, and again, store-bought tortillas. I am not making my own tortillas for a quick, easy, fast, convenient lunch on a Thursday. And then Friday is going to be pasta of some kind. And as you saw there on my rough draft, I had already a few ideas lined up for the pastas that I wanted to rotate through for Friday. So we've got a pesto pasta, a pumpkin pasta bake, which I'm pretty sure recommends ricotta as well, a Thai pasta salad, and then a pumpkin mac and cheese. Fridays, we are typically out on a field trip from like mid-morning. So my idea behind having a pasta every Friday this month was really so that I can make it beforehand and put it into lunch boxes for our Friday field trips. Mondays are really our only day during our homeschool week where we're home for the majority of the day and we don't have anything on in the afternoon. So hence why I feel comfortable making a nice homemade soup on a Monday as opposed to any other day of the week. Really when it comes to our homeschool lunches, convenience is a really big factor for me, but of course, incorporating protein and vegetables and making sure that the meals I'm making are actually filling, because otherwise I'm gonna be making snacks all afternoon, which I don't want to do either. On now to dinners. Now for dinners, I do not rotate the same thing like I do for our homeschool breakfasts and lunches. I do change up our dinners every night of the week for the whole month, with the exception of pizza night. Saturday night is always pizza, so that I guess that rotates. And for the past few months, we have been doing like a burger night on a Monday, and of course tacos on a Tuesday. But as we come into our colder months, I am phasing out burgers and tacos because honestly, tomatoes, this is the thing. Tomatoes get really, really expensive here in New Zealand over winter time. And I don't want to eat burgers and tacos without any tomatoes. So this may very well be the last few weeks that we have tacos every Tuesday. Anyways, for the first Monday of the month here, we are having lamb souvlakis with couscous, and I realize now that I wrote lamb souvlaki, which is not a word. This is like a Mediterranean-inspired dish, kind of like lamb kebabs almost, and I'll make some sourdough pita bread to have alongside this. A lot of vegetables, hummus. I'll be making my own hummus for this as well, which I'm really excited about. The kids love homemade hummus. The first Tuesday, we're going to be having ranch chicken tacos. Again, I'll make my own homemade tortillas for this, probably sourdough, as well as my own homemade ranch. Ranch, again, is not really a thing here in New Zealand. There is like one or two salad dressings you can buy that are called ranch, but it does not taste like American ranch, so I just prefer to make it myself. Wednesday, we're going to be having lemon baked blue cod. My husband really likes fishing as a pastime, and him and his friends have been catching a lot of blue cod lately, so my freezer is pretty stocked with fish that I need to use up. That first Thursday is going to be chicken korma with rice. This is like an Indian curry, and again, I'm going to be making my own sourdough naan bread to go alongside this. Friday night is always leftover night, Saturday night is always pizza night, and then Sunday I'm going to be doing a beef stroganoff. Now there are some specific meals here that I have planned for the purpose of doubling so that I can put them in my freezer. If you have been around, you know that we are expecting a baby in May, and instead of having like a huge meal prep day, I thought actually what I could do this month to prepare my freezer is to just make double ups of things. So I've specifically planned a few meals here throughout the month that you'll see I'll go around and label them later what I plan on doublings, and beef stroganoff is one of those meals. Second Monday of the month, we're going to be doing a teriyaki chicken on rice. I like to make my own teriyaki sauce for this, and you know, it's a pretty simple meal full of veggies. Really big hit in our home. That following Tuesday is going to be beef enchiladas. Yum, can't wait to eat this. And I probably will make my own homemade tortillas for this. I've been trying my hand at corn tortillas. Because again, corn tortillas, you can buy them here, but they're really not very good. I'm from Southern California, and like corn tortillas are just different there. But I'm having a hard time finding masa here in New Zealand. I can't find masa, and my corn tortillas have not been turning out well. Anyways, that second Wednesday is going to be a slow-cooked chicken parmesan soup, which is a recipe I found on Pinterest that I'm excited to try. That following Thursday is going to be cottage pie, which is a meal that I plan on doubling for the freezer. Friday, again, leftovers. Saturday, pizza night. Now, we do rotate pizza nights. I'll make sourdough pizza, or my husband will make a yeast pizza, and I mean, we rotate this as well. We have a pizza oven now, so sometimes we'll cook in the pizza oven, sometimes we'll cook them in the normal oven, and you know, just kind of changing up toppings and stuff like that. But this is always homemade pizza. We very rarely buy food out. And then that final Sunday there for that second week is going to be a beef lasagna. I will make my own homemade pasta sheets for this, and this is also a dish that I plan on doubling. The third Monday of the month is going to be a beef massaman curry on rice. This is a dish that I love to get when we go out places, and I really want to try my hand at making it myself, so I'll see how that goes. Tuesday, fish tacos, again, getting out that blue cod, trying to get it out of my freezer and into some people's tummies. Wednesday is going to be a beef and pumpkin creamy pasta. This again is a recipe that I found on Pinterest. I'm pretty sure you can put that straight into Pinterest and find the exact same recipe. It looks really tasty, so I'm excited to try that. That third Thursday is going to be French onion gnocchi with steak, or is it steak with French onion gnocchi? I'm not sure which way around it should go, but that also is a recipe from Pinterest, which looks delicious. Friday, leftovers. Saturday, pizza night again, and then Sunday is Easter Sunday, and so we'll be having Easter dinner, and I will show you guys later on what I have planned for our Easter dinner meal, because I definitely don't have space to write it all down here in my planner. All right, for the fourth Monday of the month, we're going to be having a lamb curry on rice. Obviously, we have some lamb in the freezer to use up as well, and also just as we come into colder months, for some reason, I just kind of gravitate toward lamb when it's cold. I don't know if that's just me. For the fourth Tuesday there, we're going to be having birria tacos. I mean, need I say more? Like, wow, perfect, delicious. This may very well be the last time we eat tacos for a little while. I've got to be honest. Like I said, tomatoes are starting to go up in price, so I'm not sure. We'll see. Although you don't really need tomatoes in birria tacos, so that may be one we could keep around for a little while longer. Wednesday there, we're going to be having chicken and mushroom wild rice soup. This is another recipe that I saw on Pinterest that sounded really good. Thursday is going to be meatloaf and baked potatoes. Again, this is one that I'm going to double to have in the freezer so that we could eat this next month when our little baby is here. Friday, again, leftovers, and of course, Saturday is always pizza night. Sunday is going to be chili and cornbread, which I'm finally caught up, and now I'm going too fast for my handwriting here. Chili and cornbread. I really don't follow a recipe for my chili. I kind of just throw the whole kitchen sink in there, and it always turns out delicious. And then these will also be sourdough cornbread muffins, most likely. I like to make muffins for my family just because it appears like there's a lot more. So there you have it. That is dinners for the month of April. But I am not finished yet. Right here, I am just going through and writing a little D next to all the meals that I plan on doubling to put into the freezer. And in a second here, I will be putting down all of my baking ideas. If you have been around for any of my other meal plans, you know I like to have a little section up the top that I can go to for baking ideas. I don't really really buy snacks, and instead I just keep a lot of homemade baking on hand, so I will get to that in a second, as well as planning our Sunday desserts and showing you guys what is for Easter dinner. I had planned to do like a full day of cooking for freezer meals, but I'm kind of, that's what I did with my last pregnancy, and I remember being so tired by the end of the day, so I'm kind of leaning more toward just keeping it this way and, you know, making things in double where I can. What I would really love to know is if you guys would be interested in seeing like a freezer meal prep video, and, you know, seeing the behind the scenes of what I plan to actually put in my freezer and how I'm making it all. Yeah, let me know down in the comments below if that's something you guys would be interested in. On now to my baking ideas for the month of April. As you guys can see, I also keep a little list in my phone here of ideas, things that I see or, you know, I hear about or whatever, and I jot them down in my phone, and now I'm going to put them down in my planner so that it's all in one place and I know where to look for when I can't think of anything to bake. Now it is, again, like I said before, it is autumn time here in New Zealand, and so we're getting all of the apples and all of the pumpkin and, you know, all of that delicious autumn fruit and veg coming through. So because now all of that is in season, I really like to incorporate that into my baking. You know, obviously because it's cheaper in price and it's in season, but also just to kind of make the home feel more homely. I feel like there's really nothing more comforting on a cold autumn day than, you know, the smell of like something baking that has pumpkin and apple and cinnamon in it. Like, are those not like the three most important smells to smell all autumn long? Maybe it's just me. So for this month, I have got hot cross buns, and again, these will be sourdough. I don't know if these are a thing in the United States, but they're a really big deal here in New Zealand, and it definitely is a UK thing. There's even songs made about hot cross buns, and they are an essential baking item in the month of April, and they go along with Easter. So hot cross buns must be eaten throughout the month of April, and I like to make my own. Of course, there's a lot of them available at the supermarket, but I don't know, store-bought baking just really doesn't taste good to me anymore, unfortunately. Carrot cake muffins, pumpkin protein balls, apple fritter bread, oatmeal cookies, apple muffins, pumpkin bread, and oat muffins for this month. And all of this, for the most part, will be sourdough. You guessed it. Another thing that we don't have here in New Zealand is canned pumpkin. You know, in the United States, you can go into any store and buy cans and cans of a pureed pumpkin. That does not exist here in New Zealand. I cannot buy pureed pumpkin in a can, so I, unfortunately, poor me, I have to buy an actual pumpkin and cut the thing up, and boil it in order to put it in baking. I know, poor unfortunate soul, you know, out here doing the hard yards like our ancestors had to do. No, but what I actually like to do in the colder months is buy a pumpkin specifically for baking, and then I'll make the whole thing with like brown sugar and cinnamon, and then I'll freeze it in batches so that when I want to make something baking related with pumpkin, that it's there frozen, ready to be used. Now I'm moving on to my desserts for this month. What I will also just add here is that with my baking, sometimes I follow a recipe, sometimes I just kind of throw some stuff together, but always if I'm following a recipe, I'll only do about a quarter of the sugar that a recipe recommends, especially if it's something sweet. I definitely never put the full amount of sugar because, one, I just think a lot of recipes are really excessive, and two, the baking tastes delicious without all of that. So that's one way that I kind of, you know, make myself feel better about having baked goods on hand all the time. All right, as for desserts, this month I have planned blueberry hand pies, pumpkin cheesecake, and apple dump cake. Now, on to our Easter Sunday meal. Now, we typically have friends over for Easter dinner. That's been our custom for the past couple of years. However, this year I'm I don't know what's happening just yet, hence why I haven't fully settled on a full meal plan, but this is what I have so far. I'm tossing up between a hot honey ham or a lamb roast. I haven't quite decided yet. Scalloped potatoes, garlic carrots, Parmesan broccoli, as well as asparagus, green salad, homemade sourdough buns, and then for dessert, again, I'm still kind of umming and ahhing here, carrot cake cookie pies, carrot cake bars, or a carrot cake roll. So that is what our Easter dinner menu is currently looking like. And there you have it, my friends, another month of breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, as well as baking and desserts. I hope that you guys have found some value from watching this video today. I really hope, more than anything, that it has given you some inspiration in your own homes and maybe given you some new, fresh ideas to incorporate in your own meal planning. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you and your view, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!